All right. Hi, guys. Welcome, Em, to the podcast.
Thank
I
you.
apologize in advance. My voice it's coming back slowly.
It's okay.
But,
hope you feel better.
Yeah, I feel 100% better. It's
Good.
just my voice is taking a minute to catch up. But I'm so happy to be doing this again.
Thank you.
This is the second time we've done this.
Likewise.
But it's always like we're always having incredible conversations. So I feel like it just flows so naturally. Which that's what this is going to be. Just like a natural conversation. Want to hear about you, introduce you to everybody and your amazing personality and your awesome story, because I think so many people are going to be inspired by it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so if you want to just start with that, like who you are and...
Well, my name is Emely. You know me, but for everybody else, I'm Emely Cruz. I am a florist, event planner, designer, anything that has to do with decorating, florals, homes, interior designs, all that good stuff, right? So I do everything. I've been doing this my whole life, literally. I am 37 years old. I grew up in the flower shop industry, in the business, right? Been doing this my whole life because my mom is still a florist. She's a florist for many, many years since her childhood. I think this is more like a family generational thing. So my grandmother, my mother's sister, that was older than my mom, is in my genes. We were all florists. We are all florists. And my mom grew up in a flower shop just like I did. So, yes, I grew up in a flower shop. My mother always had a business since I was born. So I've been practically doing this my whole life.
That's amazing. Do you feel like it's something you always saw yourself doing, or is it something that like later in life you're like, actually, I want to do this?
Sometimes, it's like life, right? Life in general, when you grow up doing something, is something that's already like in your life, right? As a staple, something that you're used to. It's not something that I decided one day to wake up and be a florist. Like I kind of like was raised in this industry, and is a passion, is a love for it. Sometimes, your family could have a farm or a restaurant or own a business, but that's not your calling, right? You tend to go another route and do your own thing, which is perfect. But for me, in this case, it was my passion, is something that I actually love and was born with, right?
Yeah.
So I chose this path, even though it chose me too, right?
What was it like growing up with that though? Like you're from the city and like growing up in that industry, was it different then when you're growing up than it is now?
Absolutely. So this industry now, especially now, 2020, in the 20s, right? It's totally different from back in the days. So I could say like by the age of 11, that's when I could really say that's when it started, right? So at the age of 11, my mother used to give floral classes. She's a teacher also. So she used to teach in LaGuardia College, floral design.
Wow.
And in many other places too. But this is what I remember. When I was younger, I remember her giving like the classes. I would be there. I would, kind of do my own arrangement on the side, just looking at everyone else. So I didn't really have, class experience or like one-on-one, but it's just, again, looking at my mom, being there with her, the experience of it all, right? It was just like naturally, like I was 11 making arrangements.
Wow. That's awesome.
And her students will look at me like, well, why is it that she knows and we're like adults and she's already making arrangements? They weren't perfect. I was just starting, but you could tell that eventually that was my gift, right?
That's so cool. So was it like something where you were working in the shop with your mom as an employee and then you were just like, I want to do this on my own now?
Of course, I'm in school, 11 years old, nothing serious, right? It was more like, this is what my mom does. This is her shop. She's a teacher, and I'm growing in this industry, right? As I get older, life is just, it's weird. It's like it kind of takes you through another path sometimes so you can land and know exactly what you want and where you want to go, right? So with this said, at 15, 16, when I was already mature enough to work, right? A young adult, I didn't want to be at the flower shop. It wasn't my calling at the moment, right? Why? Because I was young, and especially at that time, 2005, 2004, I was in high school, living my life and not wanting to like be under mommy's rules and work with mom, right? So of course I did work with her. We did a lot of events together, family business. I had to be there for her. But I also gained a lot of experience from other shops. I think that's one of the things with me. I feel like it doesn't matter. I'm very humble when it comes to that. It doesn't matter how long or how involved I've been in the flower industry, right? I also want to seek knowledge and guidance from other professionals, right? And my mother always approved of that and loved that about me. The fact that even though we used to get mad at each other, like, oh, you're not going to work here with me no more. Go find your own thing, you know. And I would. But then I would gain so much experience from these other places, you know, and that also made me seek different ways of creating, right? It's not, it's so many ways of creating. It's not just flower arrangements or weddings or birthday decor. There's much more knowledge to this.
Yeah. I think one thing that, and I'm curious to hear if like you felt this way or feel this way now, like so many people would have such like an advantage by having entrepreneurs in their family, like a parent that owns a business. And I know I would have loved to see that growing up because like in my worldview, like dad worked a job and that was what he did. And my mom was a stay-at-home mom, so that was a privilege for sure. But I didn't really see a lot of entrepreneurs like growing up. So for me, it felt like I was just exposed to this whole new world. When I met a bunch of entrepreneurs at 19, and that was kind of what introduced me to that world.
Absolutely.
But which was absolutely amazing to meet people like at that young age. And one of my best friends' dads was very successful. Did I say that right? She only has one dad. My best friend's dad. But I think that's such a privilege to grow up in a house with your parent being an entrepreneur. Do you feel like that kind of like just made you think differently from a young age?
I feel like from a very young age, I was like always mature for my age. Yes, of course, a lot of mistakes and stuff teenagers do, but never, always with a conscious mind of I want better, I want more. So I know there's consequences, right? When you do things. So let me do it right.
Yeah.
Right. Not that I was perfect, but I knew always since an early age what I wanted. I don't know if it was just like being surrounded by such a powerful woman. My mom to me is everything. She's my hero. She has done things that I look up to, I admire. I love her because she has been so strong, so supportive. And I think that I did, you know, grasp all of that from her. Like, I learned all of this from her too. But besides that, I always had dreams and goals. And I always felt like having these dreams and goals and trying to accomplish them, but having someone like her by my side has made it easier. You know, there's still a lot of struggles. There's still a lot of insecurities and doubts and a lot of stuff, because even so I have her support. But at the end of the day, when you are on a path, it's on your very own.
Yeah. I wanna like go back to that, what you just said, of like having those doubts and those insecurities and those struggles and like still going and taking that risk anyway. Because I think, oh my gosh, so many people tell me like they want to start a business or they love to be their own boss, but this or but that, or I don't have enough money, or I'm just not the personality type. And it's like, well, nobody is until you actually go and start. Absolutely. So, and I know you have a pretty cool story of like how this all came to be, because you didn't start with like loads and loads of cash like people think you do.
So that's the thing. People automatically think, hey, your mom always had a business. She's a businesswoman. You know, my father, amazing job, 6 figures. You know, you might think, hey, you started easy. You know, that you probably had a push. You know, because I don't come from a wealthy family, right? I come from a middle-class family. Very humble, but at the same time, super blessed. You know, super blessed because I have never been needed of anything. I always have everything I need, you know, everything I need and more. So I don't come from, you know, like a real struggle, you know, but yes, a lot of people associate business with they got it, right? Or business and they're wealthy, or business and is easy, or business and they, you know, whatever. But business comes with so much struggles,
Yeah.
you know? Business comes with so much experience, with so much, like, you're going to go through up and down in businesses all the time. Nothing is perfect, just like life, right? It makes sense. Like, it all goes accordingly. But at the same time, you have to, like, be very positive going into it.
Yeah.
You have to go with this state of mind that you're going to make it.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to make it. It's going to happen. And I understand, because I was one of those, not going to lie. How am I going to ever own my own business if I don't have thousands of dollars in my account? Okay. And that's okay to think like that, because that's a humanly thing, right?
Yeah.
To worry, to see where this money's coming from to actually grow a business, right? Because one thing I'm gonna tell you, you probably don't need thousands, but you do need something.
Yeah.
You do honestly need something, right? But the part that stops people from doing it is not having the money, is not looking for the resources. You know, you could look for those resources or make a plan. Hey,
Be
I'm going to
innovative.
save. Yes, I'm going to save for 2 years because this is my goal.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to go out there because they're giving opportunities to small businesses, you know, for fundings or whatever. My issue is that I have grown up in a family dynamic that we do things our own. We don't seek for help.
Like,
okay, we don't seek for help, independent. So I'm not looking for like the company that's going to sponsor me or for the loan that I could get from this place, because at the end of the day, I'm also allergic to debt.
Yeah.
I feel yes, allergic to debt. You know, I know that in a business you're going to have some debts, you know, and it's okay because it goes accordingly, right? But I try to always stay away from that. So you're probably asking yourself, wow, not a lot of money in the bank, don't want to get in debt, maintain a good credit score, and have all these goals ahead. How can you do this? How can you, open up a business?
I agree with, I feel like there's so many things and there's so many people that just focus on all these things that they need to do, and they have a list. And they just plan everything out to start a business, and they don't actually ever do any of the things on that list. But they're just great list makers. And I know some of them personally, and I'm not going to call them out, but you can spend all of your time coming up with a perfect plan and getting everything right, lining up all your ducks. But it's business, and never is it going to go to plan.
Absolutely.
Nothing is going to go along. Like, your plan is just there as a guideline, and it's going to change.
Listen, it was more negative things that were stopping me than positive. You know, like in the sense of, well, how I'm going to do this, how I'm going to do that. And that's the part, like you're saying, that stops people from achieving their goals. If you're going to keep putting all these negative things in your head, if you're going to keep putting excuses as to why you can't do it, because of the money, because of my time, because I'm not a people person, or whatever it is, you're never going to make it. You're never going to go where you're supposed to go, you know, your next step. Because everybody has the ability to do it. Everyone. If you set your mind to it, and I know it's something that we hear for many, many years and stuff, but think about it. You keep hearing it, right?
Yeah.
Are you there? Are you doing it? No. So some truth to it.
Yeah. Is there anything, if you were like to go back and start your business again, that you would do differently, or would you start sooner? Is there anything you would change?
I don't think so, because I gave it so much thought, you know, and I felt like also one thing about me is when I'm gonna get into something, I want to do it right.
Yeah.
I want to do it. It's not gonna be perfect, but it's gonna be right.
So it's that right amount of planning,
exactly,
to where you know what you're doing, but you're not procrastinating.
Exactly. Because it's never going to be complete. It's never going to be like, oh, perfect, the perfect money, the perfect advertisement, the perfect place, the perfect timing. Is not, right? But when is it? When you decide to do it. That's the perfect timing. That's the perfect idea. That's the perfect place when you start to do it. Because like you said, you could plan. You could put that in books. You could put that in paper. You could put that everywhere. And if you don't apply it, it's not going to come to you. It's not going to happen. And I understand. And for those, you know, I think one of the biggest things, especially when it comes to dreams, is money. You know, a lot of people is like, well, I don't need money. I'm happy and this and that. But and that's great. You know, I believe that happiness is not only money. Absolutely. But what I do believe is that when it comes to something like a business, right? You need the money,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So it's important. You need the money. You need to invest. And sometimes, and with everyone in general, the biggest thing is also how much money do I have to invest? Do I have enough? I
Yeah.
don't have enough. Now, when you find yourself in the situation that you don't have enough money, and let's be real realistic. I have, let's say, $500 in my account, right? I have $1,000 in my account, but I'm over here expressing to my friend how I want to open up a business, how I want to, I have so many ideas and so many plans, but in my account there's only $500, right? Why am I even thinking about putting a business if I have $500 in my account? It must be her thought, right? My friend's thought, or even my thought. Like, oh my God, it's embarrassing to tell my friend how I want to start a business,
Yeah.
but I only have $500,000 in my account, and sometimes zero. Like who knows, right? Whatever the situation is. But the situation here is not how much money you have in your bank account; it's what you're gonna do. Right? What you're gonna do with that $500, you can invest that $500. You understand? You can invest that $500 to make triple
Yeah.
to invest in your business.
Yeah. And in
All right?
2024, you don't need to have a bunch of cash up front.
Yes. No.
It doesn't.
You don't need that. There's so many options.
And there's so many different kinds of businesses too, obviously.
Exactly. And if you don't want to go, because I didn't go that route, if you don't want to go the route of the financial, like someone helping you, a company, or getting into a debt, which again, that is not bad. That's an option. It was just not my option that I wanted. Then we're going to have to start frugal. Okay. That's one thing that my husband told me when I told him about my business plan. He said, the first thing you have to learn is how to be frugal.
Yeah.
Which you don't know. I don't even think you know what frugal means, he told me.
Yeah.
Because you're
You
not
like
frugal.
to shop.
So absolutely. Of course I knew what frugal was, right? But definitely didn't apply it. Didn't apply it, right? But then as I was progressing in putting my business, right, I understood that frugal is the way to start, right? Because I didn't have much.
Yeah.
I didn't have much saved in my account. So I had to start with a plan. I had to set plans before I got in.
Yeah.
Right? Because if I don't have a plan, how am I going to continue? Right? So the first thing was I was working in a flower shop. And one day I was just thinking to myself, like, I don't want a 9 to 5. I don't want to keep working for other people because I have so much talent and so much to give. I've been in the business with my mom. Maybe not my very own business, but it was my family business. It was my mom's business that I grew up in. So I knew how to run a business, when it came to the customers. I'm a people person. I love, the consultations, the weddings, seeing the vision, kind of giving my perspective of, it's just so many things that goes into it. And I enjoy everything.
Yeah.
So I decided, you know what? I'm going to start by today. I said, I'm going to start by setting a goal for myself. How long do I want to be working for? How much longer do I want to be here for? I remember that was in August of 2021. And I said, I don't want to be here much longer. And not because nothing bad. They were amazing people, treated me amazing, which I'm very grateful for them. That day, I said to myself, you don't have enough to build a business. You don't have enough to get a location and to put a down payment and to every month you have to pay, that bill plus other bills. Plus, with a flower shop, a lot of things come with it. Stocks like vases, all the inventory.
Yeah.
I had to have fresh flowers in the refrigerator at least twice a week. Shipments of flowers, like it's just so much light bill, internet, advertisement, the list goes on. How am I going to do this with a couple of $1,000s in my account? How, right?
Yeah.
But then I started saying, where there's a will, there's a way. It's going to happen. And I think the first thing before the money, before the location, before the support is your mindset. Okay? The mindset of, I got this, I'm going to do it, it's going to happen. is happening.
Yep.
It already happened. Once you have that down, everything just floats. And that's exactly what happened. And it's not a magical story, but it felt magical. Why? Because as soon as I set that in my head, everything started flowing.
Well, that's like the mindset that like you're known for. That's why I would love to do an entire podcast with you just about like your mindset and like networking, because like I don't even know how we've been talking for 30 minutes already, but like that mindset piece is like one of your greatest assets.
Thank you.
And you carry that forward in every aspect of your life. So
thank you.
Yeah, that just had to put that out there, but continue.
Thank you so much. So once I decided that day, I'm going to open up my own business. I'm going to start looking for a location. And I'm saying all of this to myself and wondering like, oh my God, how am I going to really do this? I called my mom. I said, hey, Mom, I'm living in Middletown now. I own my own house in Middletown. And I feel like this is the place where I want to build my business, right? I want to start looking for a location. And right away, the support was on. It was like, I'm
awesome.
here for you. Whatever you need. Come on, let's go look for places. I'm like, are we really going to go look for places? Like, okay, let's go. Right? A week or two later, we're looking for places. And I mean, a week or two later, but we're talking about, it took us from August that I started planning. That was like the ending of August all the way until probably October. So by October already, we started looking at places. I have a vision. I always had a dream. And my biggest dream was I wanted a flower shop that was unique, something different, right? Something that when people come, they feel at home. When people come, they feel welcome. When people come, they feel like they are investing their money, because it's an investment. No, anything that you buy, that you do in your life is an investment, for good or for bad, right? And I want people to feel like they invested their money somewhere they feel appreciated, somewhere where they feel like they're going to get what they want and more, right? And for me, people... And how, since I worked so hard in my life, even though, yes, my mother had the business, even though I had a great childhood, never missed anything, kind of spoiled, but I was always so appreciative of the little things that I had, and of the big things that I have, the little things, the big things, whatever it was, I was always appreciative. So I feel like people... when they come to my business, they feel appreciated, because that's what I bring out. Like, I want people to feel like, yes, I'm appreciated. She understands my vision. My money's going to be, it's worth it, right? And in October, we found a space. We found a few spaces, but it wasn't the vision that I wanted. And they were very expensive for what it was, little businesses, and like it wasn't like the look that I was looking for. So my biggest dreams, my biggest goals was always to have a house, all right, a commercial home that looks like a house but is a commercial flower shop. Why? Because it's already a welcoming kind of feeling, homey, right? Homey. And because of the decor, the aesthetic of it, how I could decorate it, because I do home interior decorating, right? So I kind of want to implement that also with the, sofas and the chairs and the tables and my florals. How we could design your home with florals. How can we design your business with florals, right? And that's why that was really my main focus. And I knew that in this town I could accomplish this, because a lot of businesses look like homes. It's not an aesthetic that you could get in the city. Here I felt like I could accomplish that. So that was already, why is that important? Because that was already one of the reasons. It was giving me a reason as to, yes, this is for you. Yes, you could get, it's achievable.
Yeah. And then you found this place and it matched that. Yes.
So then one day we just came to this place to come see it, and I was all in.
Yeah.
I was all in. And I had a lot of, and I'm not going to lie, when you're going through this process of building your dream, you're going to have a lot of people, say negative things, or you're going to encounter negative situations. And for me, it's crazy, because anything negative that you try to throw at me, I'm always going to switch it to a positive.
Yeah. Well, fast forward to today now, you're like one of the best known florists here, and like everyone loves coming to your shop. specifically, I can't even talk, specifically because of the vibe that you've curated and created here. So,
and not for nothing, after I put the shop here, everybody loved the idea. Everybody loved the house flower shop, you know.
Yeah, it's different.
It's different.
Yeah.
And also, I wanted to give people a place where they feel cozy, where they feel warm, because that's what when we, you know, see house, we equal, you know, it equals to that.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted to bring. And flowers are healing, right? They're healing. They live, they life, and it just all goes accordingly. And that's kind of what I wanted to implement in my business. I wanted to have this vibe of, you could count on me, I could count on you. It's business, but at the same time, this is a very with good intentions. You know, everything with good intentions.
So fast forward now to 2024, and like you've got a whole like event space now too. You've got the flower shop. You have a networking group that you're starting and leading, and all these other things like blossoming like around you. What's like some of the goals that you see in the next 5 years?
So I'm about to be here 3 years already. So when I set the goal to, you know, open my own business, it was with a 5-year plan, right? I'm already in my 3rd year. It's been great. It's been good. A lot of ups and downs, but I cannot complain because now I'm at a stage where I want to build other things, right? I want to go other paths, still leading to the same, you know, the floral and the business and all that. But I also at the same time want to help other businesses because I feel like people are not, you know, they're scared or they feel like they can't make it with such little income or with such negative, because you don't know who they have around that's influenced.
Yeah, it may not be people that are uplifting.
Exactly. So I think that that's what I want to bring in the next 5 years. I want to bring positive
community,
you know,
environment.
So I want to do like networking groups together. We want to collaborate. We are collaborating with a lot of businesses that have started around the same time that I did and have been doing so good. And Middletown is a small town that there's a lot of businesses around, but I feel like we are such a beautiful community. We are there for each other. You know, I always try to keep it local. Yeah. You know, like...
Is Middletown considered a city now? Because I've heard it referred to as the city of Middletown.
Yeah, it's just...
Which is weird when you compare it to somewhere like New York City. Yeah. But it's like... Yeah. It is... I'm pretty sure it is considered a city now.
I think it is because it's coming up.
Yeah.
A lot of people is moving to Middletown and a lot of people are putting their businesses on. To be honest, 4 years ago when I came to Middletown, I could count with my fingers how many flower shops there were. I could count with my fingers how many businesses were open in North Street, you know, practically none. And now you look back, you look forward, and there's like so many businesses opening, small businesses, entrepreneurs, women, a lot of women trying to like, you know, prosper and make their business grow and trying to find other people to support and also collaborate. And this is where I want to come in and kind of show you that, you know, you have my support. You could do this. Let's build. Yeah. Let's make it happen.
And surround yourself with people that are pushing you to be a better person and uplifting you. And that's exactly what you're doing, is creating that community of people that are like-minded. You know, they're looking at the future. They've got big goals. And I think that's one of the biggest things. I love the fact that, like, you had your mom, but like you didn't have this whole community that you have now when you started. You really just had your mom, and then you built this community of support. We met like literally the most we've met at a TJ Maxx, like shopping. You were shopping for flowers, I think, and I think I complimented like a like bouquet of like fake flowers that you had. And it's just crazy how like then you know you can become such good friends with somebody, and just because you're like out there like, you know, putting yourself out there and you're networking, you had a card on you and you told me all about your business. And it was just like, you know, you have that just natural knack that I think I had to develop. It wasn't natural to me, but I had to develop that because as a business owner, you really do have to network like a lot.
But even though you say you have to develop that, I think that that's something you always had in you, because a lot of times I doubt myself. It's been so many times that I have said, I could do this, but I don't know if I could really do this. And then when I actually do it, it's so natural. It's not even like, like a script or practice or not. It's just natural. So I feel like that's why I keep saying everybody has the ability to do all these things. You just have to believe in yourself.
I think especially with networking, it comes very naturally when you have the other person's best interests at heart. Because if you're networking with a selfish intention of like, oh my gosh, let me get a customer here, let me get something out of this conversation, you're not going to be adding value. You're just going to be trying to take value, and that's very like easily felt. But like when naturally, like the way you are is just looking, how can I serve other people, and like you're putting that constant good karma out there, it's going to come back around. Like it
really does.
It does.
And it really does, because one thing that people always surprise me with is they surprise me, but they're surprised themselves, if that makes sense, right? Which is, wow, how is it that you're so okay with working with someone else that does the same thing that you do? Or, wow, how is it that you recommend this florist? Or how is it that you work so well? And I'm like, and it is mind blowing to me, because it's like, why not?
Yeah.
Like, why not? Like we all could do this. Like we all work differently. We all have different goals. And I could learn from the next person.
Yeah.
And I think that's the main thing. It doesn't matter how many years I've been doing this. It doesn't matter how much experience I have. I want to learn from the next person.
Yeah.
The next person that's higher than me. That's who I want to associate myself with.
Yeah.
That's who I want to talk to. People that's not going to be in competition with you. I learned that. And again, it comes from roots. I learned that from my mom. My mom had business friends that were down the block from her that had the same business. And what happened? She was there for them. They was there for her. She even had keys to one of the businesses, because whenever she needed anything, whenever they needed anything, that's how much.
Wow. That's
how much.
That's some serious trust.
Exactly. So that's how I grew up, and that's what I learned. And for me, there's no competition.
Yeah.
Okay. What I do.
It's an abundance mentality.
Of course. And not only that, they're going to go where they want to go. They're going to go to who they want to go to.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, they could come here, but hey, this is not really like my style. I prefer the next person. Yep. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's always going to be. And when you accept and when you know that it's okay for real from your heart and let it go, it's going to be 10 more businesses coming in for you.
Yeah. I love that.
Absolutely.
I think that's a beautiful note to end, even though we could talk for another 2 hours. There's really going to be more podcasts in the future, but that was absolutely amazing. So I guess the message to everyone is just like, take the chance, do it. Stop trying to get everything perfect. Plan only like what you need to, the bare essentials. Have a guidepost of where you're going, and then just get busy with the action part.
And forget about the competition.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and network and add value to people.
That's it.
I remember one time I was at a Target. This is just a random story I want to share. And I saw this girl. She had a gorgeous outfit on, and she was a couple years younger than me. But I complimented her outfit. And at the time, I was working for a fashion company. So somehow we started talking. I think she told me where it was from. We started talking about fashion, and she was in school studying fashion. And we just clicked so well. I wound up actually getting her an internship opportunity at the fashion company I was working for.
Amazing.
Just at Target, like just complimenting her. And I mean, did I gain anything from that? No, not tangibly, but like it was a great feeling to be able to do that.
Absolutely. And that's the part.
Yeah.
And that's the part, because I feel when I'm giving, it's just so much blessings come in. It's really possible.
It's a gift to yourself too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So on that note, thank you guys for watching. Definitely stay tuned for all the other ones. I mean, I don't really have an outro or anything, so I guess we'll just cut it. But,
so excited to be here. Thank you so much for everything, and you have been wonderful since day one.
Yeah, you too. So glad that we connected at TJ Maxx.